Welcome back to All Chat, episode 19? 18? 19.
18? 19.
I think we're at 19. Wow.
That's crazy.
Welcome back to All Chat, episode 19. The only League of Legends esports podcast by the fans for the fans, bringing you news, updates, information,
hot takes,
random chatter about all four major regions every week. My name is Jack Dawes. This is Grayson Yada.
I am Grayson Yada. You know,
That's
Jack,
his name.
we finally got more than one league going. We got the LEC up and running, which is fire. I think LCK honestly starts this week. I think it starts
Is it already
tonight.
back too?
Yeah, and then the LCS starts on Saturday. I think.
Yeah, LCS. Wow, we're about to have all four back again. It's
I
been
know,
a minute.
right? I feel like it didn't always time up like that. You know,
No.
where it's just nonstop action. There's always like a week or two buffer.
God, it's about time too. I've just been sitting here like twiddling my thumbs for the past month. I've just been sitting around waiting for leagues to start back up again. So God bless.
Yeah, it's crazy that MSI was only like 20 days ago, but it feels like so long.
I know, it feels like forever ago. Wow, it's been less than a month, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Before we get going, I just got to give a quick shout out to Gen.G Valorant, actually.
Oh yeah,
Because Gen.G kind of swept China, so VCT Masters Shanghai wrapped up this past weekend, and Gen.G, they beat Team Heretics in the final, and they're looking like a force in the Valorant scene.
Dude,
like,
is Gen.G just the best gaming org in the world?
Dude, they right now they low-key are.
That's crazy.
MSI and then now VCT in Madrid, actually, they lost in the final to Sentinels. And like,
is that my boy Tens?
That's your boy Tens.
Let's go. It's the only Valorant player I know.
Yeah.
Him
so
and,
like,
what, Demon 1 or something?
No, I'd stop talking if I were you.
Right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Tens.
Yeah, Tens. But yeah, Gen.G, dude, like at MSI and at VCT, they're in the finals last time and they won it this time and they won MSI. So just a quick little shout out to Gen.G, kind of sweeping the Riot Games circuit here.
Dude, more like Goat G, am I right? Gen Goat?
Gen Goat G. All right, we need to stop.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Dude, they're like have you seen that guy, what's his name? I think it's like Rohan God. Is that his name? Do you know who I'm talking about or no?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, it's this guy who I think he streams. He might have a YouTube channel. He's like fairly active on Twitter sometimes, but he is like a high elo, just like video game player pretty much.
Okay.
Like he gets to the highest level of like, he's done it for every single Riot game plus like a couple other games. So he's gotten to like the highest rank you can be in all 5 Riot games, I think. So League, Valorant, oh god, what are the other ones?
Does he count like TFT?
Yeah, TFT, the card game, Runeterra? Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah.
Legends of Runeterra? Yeah. That one.
And then what, like Wild Rift? Or is it like a completely different game?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what other games Riot has.
Yeah, I'm choking. It might just be those 4 that I'm thinking of. But he's gotten to the highest rank in all those. I think he's done other games too, like Overwatch and stuff. But yeah, he's known for like getting to the highest rank of all those games. Loki, Gen.G is pulling the Rohan God or whatever his name is. They're just, top ranking every Riot game right now.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Like, you rarely hear of 2 organizations sweeping in both games like that, I feel like.
Yeah, that is interesting, huh? That it's not common to have one org be super good at multiple games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like last year at Worlds, Evil Geniuses won, or not Worlds, but like for Valorant Worlds, Evil Genius won, and they didn't even have a team in the LCS.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of crazy that Gen.G's time is overlapping right now.
Yeah. I feel like you see orgs come out and they'll do well like domestically in multiple games, or they'll do really well domestically in one game and do well internationally in another game. But I feel like it's rare to see one org do well internationally in multiple games at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I think like G2 is probably like the closest example for Valorant, because I think they took third at this tournament and then they took fourth at MSI. But yeah, anyways, we're not Valorant focused, but just wanted to point that out in case.
Cares, man? Valorant, fucking more like. I don't have a joke. Move on.
All right. So what did you see from the LEC this week? Did you see that G2 and 1 and 2?
Yeah, okay. But like, if I had to put money on how G2 was going to do this week coming back, I would never have put my money on 3-0. Because like, it's G2, but also when does G2 ever 3-0 the first week, you know? Like, especially my theory, and I don't even think this is like, it's not really like my theory, but something that I believe in is that the better that you do at an international event, the farther you go, the more likely it is that you're not going to do well domestically when you get back. You know, because there's like that time. It's like the MSI slump, right? It's like teams that do well at MSI or just, you know, went to MSI and come back. They don't have the downtime. They haven't been practicing on the new patch like the other teams in the like domestic region have been. So they're just not as well acquainted, you know? So I'm not actually worried about G2. They're 1 and 2. They're going to be fine. Like, I'm not worried. They're not crashing and burning, I don't think. They're just, I'd chalk it up to an MSI slump.
Okay. Just like a little MSI hangover.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay.
I do have the standings pulled up. I would say, so G2, they're currently, I guess, tied 5th because, you know, there's only been 3 games played, which is funny because that's a third of the regular season already. Yeah. Which it's so crazy the way LEC does their season. But whatever. SK, Team BDS, and Fnatic all tied at 3-0.
Wow.
That SK's at the top. They have their new bot lane. They have Luan and oh god, what's his name? That's cringe. Rahel, that's his name. Rahel is the ADC and Luan is the bot. So they said Exakick, DOS, it's been a good run. Get the hell off our LAC team. We're importing now. They imported Rahel and Luan from, I want to say, LCK Challengers. And they've low-key been smurfing on the league. But SK is also known for 3-0ing the first week and then ending middle of the pack.
Yeah, so, I feel like you were saying this in winter.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, irrelevant is fully relevant.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah. And then I think they went 0-3 the next week, so.
Yeah, so I'm not holding my breath for SK. They do look like they went 3-0, but they always look competitive the first week. So I'm going to withhold judgment until we see another week of games from them. They still very well. I mean, even if they just go like 1 and 2 the next 2 weeks, they end 5 and 4, right? Yeah. So
they're in a good spot to start the year.
They've put themselves in a good spot. I'm not convinced yet.
You're just waiting for the crash and burn that seems to always come. Yeah.
It happens every split. I'm like, okay, SK, legit. And then at the end of the season, I'm like, man, I hate this team. I really hate these guys. So I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Okay. How about
BDS and Fnatic?
Yeah.
Pretty good. The one player that I do want to point out that I'm fully prepared to pivot on now is Ice.
Okay.
BDS's AD carry. I think in the past I've given a lot of BDS's credit to the other players on the team and have kind of felt like Ice was there to pick up the pieces when he needed to. I think he's actually good. I think he started to show it a little bit in playoffs, kind of during both splits.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of on the Ice train now. He got a penta in their second game.
Okay.
I think this guy's actually just good.
Dude, I mean, I feel like every time I've watched BDS, Ice, like, he's always doing well. He's never, like, putting the team behind.
Yeah.
But he does get overshadowed a bit by, like, the bigger name guys, Adam and Nuke, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's flashier stuff coming out of Adam and Nuke sometimes, but Ice feels pretty consistent at this point, and a pentakill's a pentakill, my man.
Yeah.
And it was on Jinx. It's not like some BS Smolder, Zeri, like uber overpowered throwaway pentakill. It was a Jinx penta.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, she's a hyper carry, right? If you get going, but credit, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. A Jinx penta, I'm on board with.
Yeah, 100%. So you got Ice then. How do you see him ranking in the LEC bot lane? Like, standings. Yeah.
That's
I feel like there's a lot of other good ADCs within the league.
There are. Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see another week of games before I fully make a judgment on that, just because I'm not super confident in how Rahel and Luan are going to end up being. They look good right now. So I don't know. I think BDS's bot lane looks really good. Both Ice and Labrov, I thought, looked good. Rahel and Luan looked good. Fnatic's bot lane is good. We know G2's bot lane is good. Carmine Corp is 2-1, baby.
I see that.
They're positive. They're sole fourth place? Yeah, sole possession of fourth place. I think this is like the highest they've been ranked all year. So
they could have gone 3-0 too, if we're being honest.
Yeah,
because I saw a little bit of their first game against, who was it? I want to say it was like Heretics, maybe.
Oh,
and like Kana and Closer got off to a really good start in the top lane, and then everything just kind of spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
And Kana couldn't really get into fights, but they had an early lead in their first game of the series, right? Because they went loss, win, right?
Yeah,
like
they did. Yeah, their first their first game started out well, and then they kind of lost it in the mid game.
Yeah.
I'm just checking. It was Fnatic that they played the first game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you can expect Fnatic to push back, right, off an early lead.
Yeah.
We're not used to seeing Carmine Corp anywhere in the top 50%, so
anywhere
it's good
near
seeing
the
there.
top of the bracket.
Yeah.
How much of the LEC did you watch this weekend?
I honestly didn't watch much at all. I really only saw like that clip, and then I saw a little bit of the Mad G2 game where Yoya played Zyra jungle.
The good old, the classic Zyra jungle. You know, the pick that everyone plays.
Oh yeah. It was actually played in the LPL though.
Really?
Yeah, LGD I think brought it out against, I want to say it was BLG. And they snuck a Baron away using Zyra jungle. So,
dude, those plants.
The plants are crazy. Yeah, it was like 6 plants, and then they ulted, mid Baron take, and they took it in like a minute. It was one of the fastest Baron takes I've seen.
Yeah, that's the whole point of Zyra, right? Is like the super fast clear speed.
Mm-hmm. Plus, she has so much not so much CC, but she has a good amount of CC with her root, and then her ult.
Yeah, the root and the ult. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Decent ganks.
Yeah, I mean, you're finally back on the league scene a bit here too. So,
yeah, Grayson and I might have been queuing up a little bit over the last week or so, and I realized that I don't think I like playing solo queue by myself. I tried playing some solo queue, and I'm like, man, if I'm not playing with someone, this is kind of cringe. This kind of sucks.
Yeah, full disclaimer, I never play solo queue. I'm just really good at ARAMs.
Just an ARAM god.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. No biggie. We got a penta, or I got a penta,
That's right.
Jack can attest to that. So
that's true. Unfortunately, I can. But someone asked Grayson about his I almost said all chat god. Jesus Christ. Someone asked Grayson about his ARAM god title, because he'll talk about it for hours.
Anyways. So who do you expect to realistically finish here is it top 6 that make it for LEC playoffs? Like way too early predictions.
It's top 8, and then
top 8.
top 6 are like upper bracket and then 7th and 8th are like single, like if they lose one game they're out.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I think the surprise to me is Team Vitality going 0-3. I know that they're very I would say inconsistent. They have high highs, low lows. They brought in Linkus for their jungler, who was super hyped. So I was a bit surprised to see them go 0-3. I thought they would have a better start than they did. Giant X, they brought in the Antonio in their top lane, who's been on he's been on Giant X's like academy. Maybe it's not an academy team, in their ERL team for a long time, I think. So he's like really hyped to some of the fans, other fans not so much. And then they have goddamn Juhan in the jungle replacing Peach, which I completely forgot about. They just have a literal world champion in their jungle, and they went 0-3. So it's
tough to say.
Giant X doing Giant X things.
Yeah.
And then Rogue is 1 and 2. They're not looking a whole lot better. So I fear that by the end of the regular season, we're going to see roughly the same thing that we've been seeing, which I think we're going to have Team BDS, Fnatic, G2, and probably Team Heretics up at the top, with SK fighting their way in there. I expect Team Vitality to make a comeback and be fighting as well. And then I think the other teams will be beneath them. I'm not convinced by Carmine Corp, but they do look a little better, I guess. So maybe Carmine Corp will be fighting more now, but
what
I
about
fear the
Mad Lions?
I don't know. They had that first really good split, and then
they just looked kind of meh since then, right? Yeah,
they've looked kind of mediocre to bad. Since then. So I'm not really holding my breath for them either.
Yeah. Okay. So in your eyes, there's like a pretty clear top 3, bottom 3, and then it's kind of like in the middle. There's a few other teams. So. Yeah. I expect Fnatic, G2, and Team BDS to end up at the top, and then I expect Team Heretics, Vitality, probably Carmine Corp, I guess, maybe SK. Some of those going to be kind of fighting in the middle. And then I think Rogue and Giant X are going to end at the bottom. Probably Mad Koi as well. Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah.
What a fall from grace for Mad Koi.
I know.
They have the best ADC.
The best ADC in all of Europe, I've heard. He's just the best.
That's what they say, at least, right?
That's what they do say that. Actually, he says that. So that's even better.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can move on towards the LPL here, since that's the only other league that we've got going on. It's
hit me with some LPL.
Yeah, it's a little weird, like talking about LPL because they have this group format.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a little different, right? When you kind of talk about these teams, because do you want to talk about them within their group? Do you want to talk about them within the scope of the league? There's just a lot of teams playing, but obviously there's like the FPX drama that's been going around.
Oh my god!
So I think it's Jalahu or
yeah.
Like Jalahu is. I don't really know what's going on over there. He like got in an argument with his coach, and then his manager stepped in and started getting physical with it. Jalahu just like up and left, and just dipped out of there. And they had someone else playing last night.
I think Jalahu broke his contract or something.
Really?
My understanding is that he like got in an argument with the coach, and then the manager stepped in, and really like the manager is kind of the source of all the problems.
Yeah.
Where like he was trying to get people to like testify against Jalahu or something, but the other members of the team were like,
"No, we're on Zalahu's side." I know like Cube and Milky Way are both like on Zalahu's side. Like,
I think that's right.
Oh, we'll provide evidence or whatever need be.
There's like this manager, I think his name is Denny or something like that, and apparently he's just the one that's like making this a huge problem.
I
saw something about the reason that they need to testify or something is because Xiaolo Hu is like breaking his contract or something like that, which is probably why he's not playing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I heard that he got kicked out of the team house. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, like, I heard that he like up and left. I heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard a bunch of different things, right? But
yeah,
regardless, he didn't play last night. They lost. They got 2-0'd by EDG.
Yikes.
So yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with FPX. They kind of had a little bit of a Cinderella run last year with Milky Way coming onto the scene, but I don't know if things keep going the way they are with all this drama and whatnot. I don't see them being competitive.
Yeah.
Especially like EDG. They weren't very competitive last year, but
No, they were like bottom of the standings, right?
yeah. Oh, they were dead, like almost dead last, right?
Yeah.
But with the way that this format works, EDG and JDG might just be the best two teams out of that group. If FPX is going to be, playing like this.
With these groups, is it possible that like, so Group A, for example, is JDG, EDG, FPX, and TT Thunder Talk.
Yeah.
Is it possible that like JDG is good and then the other three teams are all just terrible and one of them is just going to make it out anyways?
I think that's what's going to end up happening if we're being honest. I mean,
wow.
At least EDG, at least both of those orgs have like historic value, right?
Right.
EDG and FPX.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So there's that at least, but based on their current rosters, it's not looking too hot when they stack up against the rest of the league. But we could be wrong. Maybe EDG is somewhat back, but they lost Ala to Anyone's Legend, and Anyone's Legend looks disgusting right now.
Yeah, they're 2-0, right?
Yeah, it's actually you're gonna think this is crazy, but it's Anyone's Legend and Ultra Prime are 1 and 2 in that Group D with Nip, Weibo, and Invictus Gaming.
There's just no way. There's just no way that's right.
Up Ultra Prime, the team that played the Ramus Yumi last year.
Doggo. Yeah. That's my boy.
Which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, see, like the whole grouping thing it's a whole new look and feel, right? Because you can be like bad within your group. Like you can be a not as good team, but still make it out of your group.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this all goes. But
I'm looking at an LNG that's 1-1. What happened?
They got 2-0'd by Top Esports. All right, so likely
story.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
they couldn't even take one game. Dude, come on.
We're not starting this right now.
Okay, all right.
I mean, who's your favorite team in the LPL?
I plead the fifth. My favorite team in the LPL is
Billy.
BLG. Top Esports, JDG. The underdogs.
Oh yeah, such underdogs. Yeah. Have you seen Tarzan?
I saw that he had a game where he played, I think, Lee Sin, and he did the third lowest damage of any player in the LPL history.
Yeah, he did 800 damage to champions the entire game, that's crazy.
That's cringe.
Yeah, it is pretty cringe. The fact that this Weibo roster is sitting where it's at right now is pretty wild, if we're being honest.
It's not what I expected.
Yeah. Which is, maybe that's one of the good things about these groups. Like, maybe it'll become more honest because eventually teams are going to be playing each other multiple times as opposed to the previous season schedule where it was just single round robin.
It's interesting. I hadn't even thought about this. It's interesting that LPL is moving to double round robin at the same time that LCS is moving to single round robin.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I guess in a way, though, it's like they completely redid both their formats. Like the LPL format is still like super confusing. There's like 4 stages of like matches.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're trying out a lot of different things. Like we basically have 4 different formats going for all 4 leagues.
Wow, we really do.
Right?
That's got to be the first time in a while that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically before it was also like all different.
They just feel more different now than they did before.
Yeah,
you know?
right? Like LPL and LCK used to feel very similar because they were just best of 3s. But now with all the extra stuff in the LPL, like LCK feels like the most pure.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, right? Where it's just like, double round robin, 10 teams.
Best
play
of 3.
Each team. Yeah, you play each team once. LCS feels like they're getting the short end of the stick a little bit, even though it is, we are finally getting best of 3s.
Yeah,
but
even
the
though
fact
it's like
that it's
better.
it still feels like they're getting a short end of it just because it's single round robin, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think the difference now is that before it was LCK and LPL were both best of 3s, and the LCK was 10 teams, so they were single or double round robin, and LPL is 17 teams, so they were single round robin.
Yeah.
But it was like both of the regions are full best of 3s, single or double round robin into playoffs, and then LCS and LEC were both best of 1s, and LCS was double round robin. LEC is single round robin straight into playoffs. But it was like, LCK and LPL are playing best of 3s. LEC and LCS are playing best of 1s, right? And it kind of felt split like that. And now it's like LCS, LCK, and LPL are all playing best of 3s, but they're all playing it in different best of 3 formats. And then LEC is playing best of 1s, but then they quickly go into best of 3s and then best of 5. So it's like before it felt kind of split down the middle, and now it feels a little bit more all over the place.
Yeah, and it is all over the place. Like I still probably couldn't tell you what the LPL format is once they finish their groups.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be. I think from a viewership perspective, it's good. I'm still pretty mixed on how I feel about it, right? Because there are matchups that I want to see and that I know that we'll probably miss out on because of the new format.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool that they have like divisions now,
Yeah. It's different. I'm also undecided on whether I think it's better.
Yeah. As I think it's one of those things where it's going to take some time to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's fun. You could build up some types of rivalries, having a division system like this.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have much else to say about the new format because we
Yeah.
really don't know how it's going to turn out.
Well, on the LCK side, there's been a couple announced roster changes, right?
Yeah.
I know FPX is making some changes. I think.
Yeah. Willer got moved down to the Challengers League team,
which apparently has a lot of fans just like in an absolute uproar because back in January they announced that he was going to be like team captain, and it was basically like Willer's team.
Yeah,
and now he's out, which surprises me too because I've always thought pretty highly of Willer. I like Willer. I don't know.
No, he's a fine jungler. He's like, I'd say he's better on like carry junglers, right? And I don't know. I didn't think he was playing bad for FPX last year. Right? It's one of those things where I don't know if this is a change that was necessary. Like, obviously, management thought it was a necessary change, but I mean, there must be something else going on during scrims where he's underperforming, or the new guy. I don't know who it is as well, but whoever came in and joined the main roster, he's got to be like way better synergistic with the rest of the team or something,
I guess, or just way better mechanically or something.
Yeah, I mean, I know C9 went out to Korea and did like a boot camp with FPX. I don't remember if Willer played or not.
Yeah, have they? Because I'm not even sure if they've announced their new jungler.
They did announce it.
Is he a rookie? I assume he must be.
I think he's a rookie. Raptor is his name.
Never heard of that guy.
He
Must be a rookie.
Yeah, he was playing on Challengers teams.
Was he playing for FPX?
Yeah, he was on FPX.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was on like the FPX Challenger team. But yeah, the fact that they just dropped Willard down is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what happened.
Yeah, right? Especially because it was so sudden and like just came out of nowhere. But he's been on that team for a while.
He's been on it since it was Live Sandbox. And yeah.
I mean, he was on there, I think, with Prince.
Yeah, I think so.
So.
And that was a minute ago. Yeah. Prince has been in NA and then China since then.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a big piece of their roster that they're just letting go of or, demoting.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw with Kwandong how, demotions and whatnot, substitutes coming in could maybe change the team, and maybe for Live Sandbox it's the change that they need. But
maybe this is the change that gets them to Worlds Finals this year. Yeah.
Be Kwandong and FPX. And they also like changed, they added like a BNK. Did you see that? They're like called BNK FPX now.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see that.
So just another mouthful.
Dude, some of these team names are so long.
I know.
Like, isn't LNG's name super long too?
There's a few teams with some stupid long teams. Or long names.
LNG is Suzhou LNG 9bot esports. Like, dude.
Or Shanghai Edward Gaming Hycon.
Yeah. Or, okay, that's not actually, I was going to say the JDG, but they're not actually. I mean, it's long, but it makes Beijing JDG Intel Esports Club. That's pretty long too, I guess.
Well, I think JDG even stands for Jingdong Gaming, right?
Oh, you're right. So it's Beijing Jingdong Gaming Intel Esports Club. That's insane.
A mouthful. Yeah, imagine saying that every time on broadcast.
Imagine the announcer that has to do that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right. Well, since we don't have too much else to talk about as far as the leagues, because I feel like there really isn't that much else.
Do we need to talk about Yaharong? Real quick.
Yeah, we can touch on it, but that's like, if you don't know about this yet,
I'll just give it like the quick 30-second rundown.
Yeah.
Apparently, Yaharong is being investigated in Japan. He's being investigated in Japan for murdering a woman because she wouldn't have sex with him. That appears to be the story.
Yeah.
You can look it up. It was on Twitter. I'm sure there's news articles about it, but there was some dispute and supposedly he killed the woman. But I saw some stuff online saying that reportedly it was a 40-year-old man though too, and Yaharong is definitely not 40. So it's a little confusing where it's actually at right now, but potentially. And for those of you who don't know who Yaharong is, he played in the LCK for a number of years, and then he went over to Japan, and he's been playing on DFM for the last couple years, and has been a big part of that roster that's continuously done really well in Japan. So that's it.
Yeah, pretty crazy. pretty crazy if you ask me.
Don't murder people.
Yeah, probably not the best idea.
Like the more you know, like the reading rainbow thing. Don't murder people.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see how that all plays out as well. Let's do something a little more cheerful, a little more fun here. Yeah. I don't know if many viewers know much about us individually, obviously we have like some of our biases are a little clear and whatnot when we're talking about certain teams and players.
Yeah.
But who are some of the players that got you into League, or like a reason why you enjoy watching League right now? And we could do like a top 3 list here and kind of just like name off some of the guys who we really enjoy watching, or like they're a reason for us to turn on a stream and watch a game.
I like that. So not like top 5 favorite, not top 5 best, but like most like inspirational or like most interesting or like
someone that like
thing.
you watched a video of you or you watched them play and it's like, oh wow, that guy's sick. Like let me find out more about that guy, because I have a few guys in mind.
Yeah.
Where I was a pretty casual watcher, and then maybe I saw one of their stream highlights or something, and it was like, oh, this guy's actually like really funny, or like, oh my god, this guy's mechanics are crazy, and it just like sent me down a rabbit hole of like, oh wow, like there's so much more.
Hit me with an example. Who are you thinking of?
For me, it's actually the guy on the back of my jacket right now.
Oh, jersey check, real quick. Okay, Viper. When did you get that?
I got it at the same time as all the LPL stuff.
Oh, that's sick.
They had some LCK stuff. Yeah, this jacket was like $15,
dude.
Right?
That's nice.
Right? Pretty sick.
Got all the sponsors. I'll do a little jersey check too. I got the Gap hoodie on. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Team
sir.
Gap, baby. Team Gap.
No, but that's sick. That's a nice jersey or a nice jacket.
Oh yeah. I mean, okay, so like Viper is one of those guys where I wanted to learn more about him because obviously I heard a lot about him just as like being one of the best ADCs. When I first started watching League, he had just won with EDG. Like when I really started watching a lot more League, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, like Viper's coming back to Korea, making a big deal." Like, when he came over to Hanwha Life, I was like watching a lot more Hanwha Life esports, and I was like, "Can we get this guy a new support? Can we get Life out of here?" Like, Viper's just 1v9ing every game. Yeah, and like I watched a lot of his stream highlights too, that Hanwha Life post, and he's actually like a really funny guy. And so, yeah, I'd say Viper is like one of those guys that got me more into League. I think like the Score Esports or someone also did a video about Viper and that EDG team, and that like also got me really into it. And so I'd say like Viper is definitely one of those guys where it's like, he's probably one of my favorite players to watch because he's so disgusting, but he's also like a funny character, funny personality. Yeah, on stream and stuff that not a lot of people know about, I don't think.
That's dope. Okay, I'll hit you with a similar one then. Kind of. One of the first players that I saw a clip of, and I was like, okay, North America is actually perma doomed at international events because this guy is allowed to play the game and he's absolutely disgusting. Is Ruler. Oh. I saw this Ruler clip of him playing Ashe and like kiting out a team fight, and I straight up I took a video of it and I was like, there is no one like in North America who can do this. Like this guy's actually just the most insane ADC player I've ever seen. So that was kind of one of the first times I started like actually watching some LCK teams. That was back when he was in the LCK still, when I think he was on Gen.G at the time. It was a clip from that era, and that's kind of what got me to start watching LCK more. I already knew that they were a really good region and had really good teams, but when I saw that Ruler clip, I was like, okay, I kind of want to watch this guy like actually play more than just a couple of games they play against NA teams at like Worlds. But yeah, I just think like I gained so much respect for Ruler in that, just from that clip, and then just from watching him play over the last couple of years. But that guy is insane. Yeah, like, what an insane player.
The fact that he's still going so strong too is pretty crazy.
Yeah, because that clip was from like 5+ years ago. I think it was from a while ago. So the fact that he's still at the top is like, Jesus.
Yeah. There's like a lot of pretty historic guys, throughout the game. I mean, it'd be hard to not say Faker. It'd be hard not to say like Adept, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Like, especially for me, because I consider myself a newer viewer in the League space. Like, I've been watching since like the 2015s, right? Like I wasn't even playing League or anything like that, but slowly like I started watching a lot more videos of the past, like of previous Worlds teams, right? Like the Gen.G story and like seeing how he took his team to Worlds, the Shy, right?
Yeah,
like showing how he went and carried IG. But yeah, there's so many like really cool guys out there that it's hard to like pinpoint one or two, Just
do you have another one though? Do you have like another person that you would try and pinpoint?
honestly, it might have to be Showmaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, almost like for the same reasons as Viper. It's like I'd always seen Showmaker. Like I would watch a lot of LCK when I was like during the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was when DK was like still really competitive.
Yeah.
Like they're consistently in that 1-2 spot over like Gen.G. And I remember always seeing Showmaker, right? Like you've heard of Faker, and then I feel like Showmaker's like the next guy that you've heard of. Like for at least for my like progression, like I grew up playing with a lot of like Korean guys, and so like I'd always reference like the top Korean players. And as I got more and more into League, it was like Faker and Showmaker were like the two guys, right?
Yeah.
And then you see like his streams and stuff. He's a really funny guy as well.
He's low-key super entertaining.
Yeah.
He has a couple clips that have gone, I mean, a couple of his clips have gone like super viral, super popular, but he's low-key hella funny.
Yeah. Like there's times where he tries to do all English streams, things like that. He rages super hard. He plays like exactly like how you would play, like as like personally, right? He plays like every other League of Legends player, but he's also like his expressions are just like any other League of Legends player as well. Like the way that he sees the game and like acts while he's playing is very similar to like how I'd imagine myself playing the game, but he just does it at a way better level, obviously.
The only difference is he's one of the best players in the world and you're ARAM god. So
hey, I like my odds in an ARAM against any of those guys, but
yeah, you do. You take yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because I bet they don't have ARAM God because they're grinding solo queue
like losers.
Yeah,
What, solo queue so they can play competitively? That's garbage.
Who needs to do that, bro? It's crazy.
Who cares? Okay, so I have another one for you that when you were talking about Showmaker, it made me remember this. The year that Suning went to Worlds Finals against
D+.
Was that D+?
I think so.
I think
I'm pretty sure that was
right.
2020, like COVID year.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever year that was, where Suning went to World Finals. One of those like journal websites might have been .esports, might have been someone else. They put out a video about Huanfeng.
Huanfeng?
Yeah. And just like his life story. And that I thought was incredible. Like the way they were able to like shape his story and talk about how he was like playing to win the world championship because he had to. You know, it was like this whole thing of like, oh, all these like NA LEC players, they're just like playing for fun. Huanfeng is in here because like if he doesn't play League, he has nothing. Like this guy has committed his entire life. He has to win. And I was like, holy. So that year when they made World Finals and they were like upsetting everyone, and Huanfeng was like a huge part of that. I remember that being like a really moving documentary that they did on him and made him one of my favorite players too.
Yeah.
So I would say in terms of just like influencing me from like a story standpoint, Huanfeng was a big one.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, my moment was like Deft and kind of like getting into that, because I think that was the first Worlds that I really like watched all the way through, and I was like keeping up with it. And it feels like so long ago, but it was only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. But that was just a crazy run, just seeing how they did it, seeing everyone on the team like have their moments too. Like that whole DRX roster and run was another thing that definitely got me hooked. I'd say that's what got me hooked, onto League of Legends.
That's got to be one of the best stories you could ask for.
Yeah.
Like I've only ever been to one international series in person, and it was that 2022 Worlds Finals in San Francisco. that was like the best series I could have picked.
Yeah.
What an insane story and series. Yeah, I'm totally with you. That I'm sure that got a whole bunch of people to be longtime fans.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you were newer to the game and all you knew was Faker, because that was basically where I was coming from. You didn't know about Deft, right? You didn't know that this guy's won literally everything else. You didn't know that he had his stint in China, right? You didn't know that he was super. I mean, you probably should have known by then, but like for me, I was so new and I didn't know the history of all these guys. Like all I knew was the big name guys, right? Like, oh yeah, Faker's good. Oh yeah, Gen.G's good. Chovy, Ruler, oh Carrier, right? You forget about those other guys, right? You forget about the guys that didn't have all the glory, right?
Yeah.
And so it's cool learning about that more in depth and just seeing the different paths that both Deft and Faker took and how many parallels there were in their stories, only for one to see all the success and the other to be, not riding the coattails, but being on the outside looking in for so many years, right?
For sure.
And then to finally get over that hurdle in the way that he did, so sick.
And man, props to the teams that put on these shows, like props to the teams that researched all of that, wrote it all, had like presented it to the players, had them perform it, and then put it together in such a compelling way.
Yeah.
Like these stories didn't have to be public. They didn't have to be like, these could just as easily not have existed for the majority of League fans. I mean, super intense fans might find out anyways, but without the teams putting these together and then turning them into videos, turning them into stories, turning them into narratives, that kind of thing, like the average fan might not have ever even heard about this. So super cool and props to them.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many small things, content pieces are other ways that I've like really gotten hooked on a league, right? All the like the LCK lane mate stuff is super fun. I've gone down the rabbit hole of like Team Liquid, I think, doing like 2v5s, like 2 pros versus 5, platinum players or something. And it's just like all this content and all these videos are something that really got me into League of Legends. And so yeah, since we don't have much to talk about on the pro side, I figured why don't we just talk about what we enjoy?
No, I like that. Yeah. Just as another quick shout out to a content person, I feel bad that I'm going to forget his specific tag, but I'm pretty sure that he has like a channel that's called Silvex, or it's like SILVXS, I want to say, Productions. He's a guy who has been working for Team Dignitas's content team for a little bit, and he's been like hugely boosting their socials. He got some popularity on Twitter and YouTube and stuff because he was posting really good content, but also he has like so much confidence in what he can do, and he's posted these tweets being like, if you get me on a content team, your team is going to have the best content of any team. And he's actually putting it up, which is really crazy. But he just made a video that I think some people will recognize, which I think is called This Esport Should Be Dead by Now, or something like that. And it's just like a kind of like a chronology of League of Legends as an esport. And it dips into a few of the different regions and kind of like tells the story. I think it's mostly North America focused, but it dips into like storylines from a few different things, and it's really, really well done. It's actually like very emotional, especially for people who have been around for a while. He did such a great job, and there's no, he might talk in it a little bit, but like 90% of it is just clips that he's taken and put together super well. So mad props to him, because that's some of the best content I've seen in a while.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
You should. It's like a 15-minute video that will keep you engaged the entire way through.
Okay,
it's real good. Yeah.
No, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I love all the YouTube content.
Yeah,
especially when you can tell if someone's put the time in to make some of these videos, right? I think like the Score Esports does really good League of Legends breakdowns, like for specific players or specific teams, right?
Just as another player too, it's got me thinking. You got me thinking about a lot of players now. But I got to point out Licorice for me because I think that the year that Licorice was on C9 and C9 went to semifinals of Worlds, that's what started making me such a huge C9 fan. He was so dominant in the LCS, and then when they 3-0'd Africa to go to semifinals, and there, I don't know if you remember this or have seen this at all, but there's a clip of Licorice in the Baron pit, and they're like 5v5ing in the Baron pit, and he walks up and steals Baron with an Ornn auto, and it's like it's gone down as one of his like best clips, obviously, but it was like that was like the moment they like secured the series too, like him autoing Baron to steal it. I don't know. I just think Licorice is such a fun player for me to watch. I'm a top lane player primarily, so it was really cool when he was on the main team as well, and like Fudge was in academy, and they would talk about how they would 1v1 each other and learn from each other in that way. It was a huge bummer when he left C9, but I'm really glad that he's back in Dignitas. It makes me want to watch Dig more now just because he's on that team. So I don't know. I'm a big Licorice fan. I just want him to do well. It was sick when he was on Golden Guardians too. Him and Stixxay. I'm a big Stixxay fan from back in the day when he was on CLG. So to see Licorice and Stixxay doing so well on that Golden Guardians team that did well at MSI and Worlds the last, what was that, last year, 2 years ago? I guess it was last year. That was sick. So Licorice is a big one.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you always geeking about Golden Guardians whenever we would talk about League. You'd always be like,
dude, they were so fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, whenever we would talk, like, you'd put me on to Golden Guardians more and more every time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when they went to MSI last year, it was like, holy shit, they're actually playing really well.
They're actually goated?
Like,
so good.
I didn't know shit about these guys, but now they're on my radar, you know? Like, I thought Fike was... Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, most of the players are still around, so
yep.
That's all you can ask for sometimes.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Stixxay, I think Stixxay is the only one who's not playing, huh? Because Gory's somewhere.
Yeah, Gory's in Flying Oysters now, right?
Yeah.
And then Licorice is back on Dig.
River
is playing on 100 Thieves.
And then
their support, I think, was Huhi.
Yeah, it was Huhi.
Yeah, so you're right. It's just Stixxay. And he kind of vanished.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, now that you say that.
I don't know where he
must
went.
be coaching somewhere.
Yeah, probably doing some type of coaching.
But like that guy had such an insane story too, because he debuted, I want to say, on CLG. That was like this super dominant CLG team. They beat TSM that had Bjerg and Doublelift on it, who were supposed to win the split back in like 2015, I think. And then they went on to MSI and beat RNG at MSI, which was insane. There's like those super iconic moments of Stixxay and Aframu and Huhi like all at MSI, and like the decked out like America CLG jerseys that were so sick. And then he like after that it kind of went downhill. He went into academy, then he coached academy, then he had to come back onto the academy roster for some reason, and then he got up onto Golden Guardians, and then they went to MSI. It was like the craziest, you know, start out super high, drop down super low, and then come all the way back up to like the same height you were at before, maybe like a little less. But what an insane story from that guy too.
Yeah, it's crazy how many different paths there are for like pro League of Legends players, right?
Yeah,
it's nuts how like guys can be like perma stuck on the worst teams their whole life and then go over to one team and be disgusting, or like be disgusting to start, have a few off years, and then come back and be disgusting again.
Yeah,
it's kind of nuts. Like just seeing, like I look at some of the LCK like players and I'm like, you played for some random ass teams, you know, like it's crazy. Like where all these different guys played throughout their whole careers. And it's, I guess that's one of the things with esports is don't expect a player to be on a team too long and, be grateful for them while they're there.
Because of some of these players that are on teams for so long, like because of how long Faker has been on T1 and I don't know, Chovy has been on Gen.G for a while and Ruler was on Gen.G for a while. Because of some of those players, I feel like we forget sometimes how much other players move all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you're totally right. Players will go from absolute top teams to absolute bottom teams and then back up again. And like that just happens.
Yeah. And I think with that, it's kind of cool, in League of Legends, how there's a lot of moving parts. I wish that there's a little more permanence in rosters, but if something doesn't work, then something doesn't work, and you move on. I think that's one of the cool things about League is how you see all these different historically good guys, playing with each other. Like right now, we get to see, or like last year, we got to see Deft and Showmaker and Canyon all on the same team.
Yeah.
Right. This year, we get to see, like kind of DRX running it back a little bit, right? So it's cool. It's really cool seeing BDD. I think he gets a lot of he doesn't get a lot of credit. Sorry, like a lot of the KT guys from last year, I feel like are severely underrated.
Yeah,
but just in general, there's so many awesome players out in the scene, and we'd be talking for days if we mentioned every player that we like a lot, right? So.
Yeah. But let us know who your favorite players are or who your inspirational players are. Take the same idea that we had and let us know who got you into League and who keeps you following it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool idea. And I'm interested to see, there's so many good picks, like Grayson just said. Like there's, we could be talking for hours. So let us know.
Yeah. Send in the comments down below.
Yeah.
Who you guys were inspired by.
Inspired, some would say.
Yeah.
Some people are probably inspired by Inspired.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Who's to say? Okay.
Alrighty.
All right.
Alrighty.
I think that's about it. Shout out Ablaze Olive for finding an NACL team. That guy's the GOAT. Follow him on Twitter. Talk to him on Twitter. He's actually hella fun to talk to. Shout out to Blaze Olive. I think that's about it.
Yeah. So we wrap it up then.
Let's call it. You wanna run us out?
Yeah. Thanks for listening to All Chat, guys. Episode 19. My goodness, I can't believe
almost
we're already
in
2-0. I know. We're already in June right now, almost midway through June.
We're like 6 months in. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, we started this back in January, huh?
And look where we are now. Woo!
Let's go, baby. Anyways, y'all can follow us on all of our social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You're probably watching this on YouTube right now. We're on all other podcasting platforms as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that jazz. So make sure to check us out. We'll have everything on the screen. And, thanks for listening. As always, All Chat's by the fans, for the fans. We'll see you guys next week.
Shout out to you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Peace.